Ladies and gentlemen, live from the confines of my dingy and opaque office, we're live and we are bad. How's everybody? It's not Sunday. I think it's Wednesday. It feels like Thursday, and I wish it was Friday. Mike N 32451 is in the chat. Howdy, Mike. We are here. We are live and congregated at the request of Miss Olive Drab. Paul Pajui's in the chat. Howdy, Paul. Bryce DeCastro's in the chat. Howdy, Ice Spider Garage. What's going on, brother? I still got to do that video, mail call video. It's been a couple of weeks. Brain dead, man. Got to do one for Olive, too. She sent me a head gasket for the Slant 6. I've been working. I've been working about six to 5, and then the traffic makes that about 6 to 6. So I've been a zombie lately. So I apologize. Oh man, you guys can see it probably on the. I'm Middle Eastern, so they're always dark anyway. But I got some bags under my eyes. Ah! Stabbed myself in the eye. Just do what the drone couldn't. Ah. Paul Pajui is asking, what subjects are we talking about tonight? Geez, where do we leave off in Tony's tech talk? We were talking about swirlies. We were talking about shaving eyebrows. There was a few great subjects there. All the tech related subjects there. Envious Creations Car Club is in the chat. Our brethren from Modesto, California. What's going on, brother? How are you? Mike N saying Shirley Muldowney's secret nickname. Paul Pajou saying I like the best ticket stories. I would be very interested to go into a coffee shop that Tony owned. He makes him sound like a really eccentric place. He makes him sound like a full on circus, really. I Spider Garage is saying we got Morticia driving. Just have to unlock one wheel hub. It's always something, man. It's not stuck onto the spindle, is it? I had so much trouble with that. I didn't realize that my drums were riveted on originally in this truck, so I had to remove the hub just to take the drum off. Charlie Roma's in the chat. Howdy, Charlie. Unfinished project saying 25 miles per hour. Bryce is saying I'm not sure. We need to get a wheel puller to see. Yeah, we'll get her going, right? That's cool, man. I mean, it's a kind of a pain, but it's still a fairly simple issue at least. Yeah, Bryce. They didn't. Even the mid '60s design's weird. I think. Yeah, the drums are integral to the hubs on those, even the later A bodies. Spencer's Drink Reviews and Chugs is in the chat. Howdy, Spencer. Good old Dodge. Hey, but once you get past the idiosyncrasy, Charlie Roma saying rock and roller, a real rock and roller. I love that movie, Charlie. That's a good one. Great soundtrack too. Most of Guy Ritchie's movies have a great soundtrack. Yeah, I was half asleep here, and Olive requested that I go live. There she is. Olive saying it's she's in the chat. Howdy, Olive. How are you? She's saying it's a cool thumbnail, Ari. A Rivian in the wild even. Yeah, someone parked it right next to my truck, and I knew it was kind of an intentional thing just because they're like, oh, cool, you know what I mean? Not like a screw this old truck thing, so I took a picture. Cousin Mike saying, Ari, you should drink Dos Equis. I don't often drink beer, Cousin Mike, but when I do, I drink sparkling orange water. How are you, Mike? What's going on, man? Mike was just branding more cows and everything. He's working himself pretty hard. I don't know if he did today as well. That was yesterday you were telling me that, right, Mike? Or was it 2 days ago? It's all one day right now. Unfinished project saying, all right, drinks Trey seconds. You know, and if you go when you go down to Mexico, they sell 40 ounces of Dos Equis, and they're damn good. Olive saying, like it or not, your truck is cool. I suggest Dos Equis Amber if you do, though. That's actually one of my favorites. Olive, especially on tap. That's a really tasty beer. Cousin Mike saying, last 2 days helped Barrow's dad. Was he building something, or will you help everybody build everything? Teens in the chat saying, I eat kiwis, bacon, and juice. That's what I was thinking for Kiwis merch, is he could just sell kiwis, but put like a custom fruit sticker on them. No, I'm dumb. All I'm saying, I drank that in college. I never got carded because I didn't buy things idiot kids wanted. It makes a difference. Excuse me. It makes a difference, you know. You go in there and buying certain things, you know, it's like you're not buying a 30 pack of Keystone and some Jaeger or nothing, you know. It's funny now, you know, I mean, the market's real flooded with all kinds of different beer, you know, all the craft brews and everything else. I feel like back in the day, you either drank really generic or you had to go to the imports like that. And I always leaned towards the English imports, the Samuel Smith and stuff. But you were probably burnt out on that being in New England, all the Smittix and everything else around. Cousin Mike has got a store tab now to get merch. That's pretty badass. I need to make some merch so I can send you guys something for the sake of gratitude. Unfinished project saying Keystone because it's cheap. Cousin Mike saying I drank Guinness and Mickey's. Not at the same time, hopefully. All of a sudden it was slim pickings, even in New England then, really. Yeah, it changed a lot. I mean, like I said, nowadays it's like even just the gas stations flooded with all kinds of, you know, different beer selections and everything else. Not to mention if you go to like the Bevmo or Total Wine and More, it's like it's endless. People are always coming out with new stuff. I'm real basic. I like browns and reds. I drink Mexican beer mostly. Paul Pajui saying we used to drink 7-ounce beers in between classes in high school. Excuse me, guys. Envious Creations Car Club saying Estrella, Jalisco. I can't roll my R's, Envious. I'm sorry. And Keystone. The Estrella is good. That's good beer. I mean, it's brewed by Modelo, isn't it? Or is it Victoria? I don't know. Victoria, Modelo, and Estrella, I feel like are really, really good. I could drink a ton of those. Olive saying Sam Adams then happened. There you go. Mike Ann, I never did the soul much. Tecate, that's one. That old Tecate. Say habla Tex-Panyo. Tecate tastes way different in Mexico. Way different. I mean, it's absolutely delicious down there, and it's kind of like meh up here. Unfinished project saying, Dean, I went to get some denatured alcohol off the shelf and found out that I don't have any. I think they stopped selling it out here. I could be wrong. All I'm saying, down here they charge for Sam Adams like it's up shelf, but used to be much cheaper than paying for Bud's Clydesdales. Paul's saying Harpoon IPA. I don't do the IPAs. They make me sleepy. They make me sleepy. I'm already sleepy. Look at me. It's been a little bit slow at work, so I was joking with the guys. I'm like, I'm going back to the ratchet. You know what I mean? I don't use the electric ratchet. I don't use the impact or nothing. It's pretty great. They're sitting there watching me. I mean, it helps. That way I'm not standing around doing nothing, right? I'd rather work over a longer period of time than work really fast and then stand there looking around. Paul's saying it's twice as strong as Sam Adams. Yeah, those IPAs are really strong beers. All saying quirk of the pandemic for cleaning stuff alcohol. You can get cheap versions of Everclear, not denatured, but cleans before paint just as well. I like denatured a bunch. My favorite solvent is still the SEM brand, the SEM Solve. That stuff's great. Dab some of that stuff behind my ears if I had a can right now. Mike N saying IPAs taste like you're eating a bouquet of flowers. Some of them do. They're floral as all hell, depending on the hops they use. Unfinished is going to use it. Try to get some overspray off a plastic dash. Dash. Olive says denatured just means undrinkable. Huh. I'm gonna start distilling my own denatured alcohol at that point. When I was working in plumbing, I always wanted to make a tiny still. I'm like, I'm around all this copper and rivets and everything else. Like, why don't I make myself a still? But I never did. Dean saying, toluene for me. Thanks. Good old Dean. He's always thinking circles around me. Unfinished project saying, challenge accepted. Just one of those little. They got, I forget what it's called, like a little pot. It's like something. It might be a pot belly, but like this is tiny still. New Guy's Guitars in the chat. Saying, what's up, brother? Not much, man. Sitting here half asleep. I caught the last 30 minutes or so of Tony's Tech Talk, and folks were asking me to go live, so I was like, I'm going to go live. How are you, man? Anything cool happen? Dean saying, just like MASH. Never watched a lot of MASH. Olive saying, gin supplies are desperately low, but we have enough vermouth to last the war. Yep. Yeah, Dean, it's UTG's TikTok where he does mostly viral dance trends. Alva's in the chat saying, "All right, didn't realize you were doing lives tonight." Me either, Al. It was a request, so I just I figured I'd pop on here. Maybe do an hour or so before I start falling asleep on you guys. I was just talking to Al. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he lives in like a bunker or something, or if it's just my phone or what. But it cuts. This has happened a few times. It cuts me off when I'm talking to him, and it bums me out because I want to hear what Al has to say. But yeah, decent day. Nothing too crazy. I was pretty dang tired. I woke up and had a really overwhelming feeling to go back to sleep, but I didn't do it. Yeah, Al, up late for a school night indeed. Dave Lewis is in the chat saying, what up? Not much, Dave. Just over here running my mouth. How are you, man? How's the shop? Full swing? Paul's saying Patron and Contro mix or Patron and Contro margaritas will do. Oh yeah, yeah. The Contro is nice. I've seen people use Contro or Grand Marnier instead of the triple sec, and I prefer both. Um, Al's saying got books but no eyesight. I'm right with you. Nathan Neal's in the chat. Nathaniel from the Bible. What's going on, brother? I'm sitting here half asleep ranting at these poor people. Al, but I feel you there. I'm close to the bifocal stage. Jason's Garage is in the chat saying, "How y'all fellas doing? All right? How are you, man? How we doing? Anything crazy happen? Anything life changing? Anything prophetic? Perhaps a revelation?" Olive's saying lighting is key when it comes to books. Yeah. Otherwise, you're squinting too much. You give yourself a headache real fast. Dave Lewis is saying, "Good. Had the 57 out this evening before it's put to bed for winter." That's Dave. That you sent me a picture with a drop top, right? It's a beautiful car. I want to get myself a Tri 5 just to cruise around and listen to oldies in. I think like well, yeah, just like specifically to listen to doo-wop. Paul's saying the Contro costs as much as the Patron. Yeah, I prefer Don Julio if I'm drinking whiskey like that or whiskey. See where I'm at, guys? I need to get some. I need to get to bed. Mr. T 2.0 is trashing you. He's restreaming you. You know what? If he wants to go head to head on a roast, I guarantee I'll win. Oh man, guarantee I'll win. I did say something bad to him. I made a comment about his mother. Mike Ann 32451 saying tested positive for flu today. Sleeping all day, felt like I got hit by a truck. I'm sorry to hear that, Mike. I don't know. I thought I just had a sinus infection, but it's kind of tumbled into me hacking my lungs out and everything else. I'm glad I haven't had a coughing fit yet. Nathan's got me on the TV in the lift. Don't do that, man. Don't pollute your home with my voice. That's a bad thing. It's not good at all. That's I'm just kidding. I love you, brother. What is saying? How you're literally out of hair? What? Barrow's Garage is in the chat saying, "Hello there, everybody. What's going on, brother Bear? How are you?" Unfinished project. Saying, pull scrambled eggs. Do you beat them in a bowl first or scramble them right in the pan? The bowl unfinished. I've always done the bowl. They taste kind of lazy if you do them in the pan. I don't know. Ezra Stevens is asking if you can say the N-word, please. You can say nitwit all you want in this live stream. Olive is saying, Miss Olive Drab saying, there are many bugs out there. I know many among us don't like needles and masks, but the masks. I mean, I don't see how oppression would have kept me from getting a sickness. Ezra Stevens is asking, are pants in the UK? I think they wear kilts in certain portions of it, but I'm not very enlightened. It took me years to learn that all these years I've been saying Worcestershire, it's just Worcester. It's a much easier way to say that. It's a lot of letters, but in the same breath, it's so much easier to say Worcester. Worcester sauce. I don't know. I'm a caveman. Barrow's Garage is saying, today was a total failure. Building a ride-on snowblower for my day. Got it all ready, fired it up, and the SOB spun backwards. Oh, wow. Who's there, Ezra? That doesn't sound like fun, Brother Bear. That's kind of one of those days. Maybe you got my curse from talking to me. Charlie Rome was saying, asking if that makes a snow sucker. Mike N saying Ezra has been drinking apparently. Yeah, I mean, LB Bruin 79's in the chat. Saying Mama told me not to come. Chris Cadman's in the chat. Chris and Heidi. Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. That after the pilot bearing incident, Brother Bear, I'm like I sympathize mechanically. I'm like, it can happen to anybody. Even someone as, next level and as expert as myself. I guess I'm sure you'll find a good solution there. Dada Lebreton is in the chat. What's going on, brother? At Zero's in the chat saying, hello, everyone. Oi, oi, oi. Paul Pajui saying, are you the real LP? The real deal. Unfinished, I know how to say it, but it's like, it's just Worcester. Like they don't say it like that. But yeah, nothing crazy on my end. Truck's been running well. I use less gas with the V8 than the 6-cylinder. And unfinished, he was kind of like, you don't calculate your gas mileage. And I'm like, no, not really. But I know that I spend less money on gas. And that coupled with the fact that gas has gotten more expensive has led me to this conclusion that I use less gas. At Zero's bragging that I've done 70 now. Yeah. Well, I did 70 with the 6-cylinder at Zero. It's weird using a pseudonym for your own friends. But no, the truck's she's doing well. She's happy to go every morning, and I've obviously been enjoying driving the thing. The V8's really sweet. It's nice hearing the V8 purr when I'm warming the truck up or taking a corner nice, whatever it may be. 70 miles per hour, Dada Leberton. Darren. Barrow's Garage is saying, oh, he's greeting. LB Bruin 79. Olive saying sixes like that get less efficient if you push them. Yeah, I'm sure if I was putting around, like country road driving and stuff, I probably could have gotten some decent efficiency out of the 6-cylinder, but all the freeway driving, keeping her at full tilt like that, I just don't understand how that much gas could go through such a little carburetor. Paul's saying LB is a celeb in Beantown. Dean, I am not bending the truth. Olive saying I haven't been home in a long time. Got a lot of Bostonians in here. That's I don't know. I'm proud and also worried. A little bit of both. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Dean saying he drives everywhere at 25 miles per hour and the odometer doesn't change. I had that Speedo cable for a little while. I pulled it out of that 60 Cadillac chassis that we had at the shop. I very harmlessly took the old Speedo cable and joked that it was OEM, and it only lasted like a couple weeks there. Name a country for an edit. Turkmenistan. Toyota Supra's in the chat. Welcome. LB Bruin saying I'm from Sin City, DC. Donna Leberton saying there was actually a guy asking why is one barrel straight 6 went from 10 miles per hour to 2 to 4 miles per hour. 2 to 10 miles per gallon to 2 to 4 miles per gallon when he installed a turbo. Oh, wow. As much as I can read cursive Toyota Supra, my eyes are defeating me now. And I don't want to get any closer to this camera because that's just going to offend. That will offend. Unfinished projects saying keeping track of your mileage can also give you a heads up when something's not happy before it becomes obvious and more of a problem. Definitely. Simone Davis says, bet. Thank you, Simone. Welcome to the chat. Glad to have you. Cousin Mike saying text unfinished project, all of your info, and you can keep track of your mileage. Name a JDM. I don't even know what a JDM car is. I'm on Enlightened Toyota Supra. I'm sorry. I'm not good with acronyms. That's probably a learning disability. I don't like them. I would rather say 3 words. Oh, Japan domestic market, JDM. Okay. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't know that. I'm Toyota Supra. I mean, I had a 96 Camry that was just that thing was a sweetheart. Her name was 96 Tears. So I'm going to go with the 96 Camry. We get out of the 24 valve 1.6. Could be wrong. 16 valve? I'm not good with, you see? Camry's not JDM? Well, I don't even want to choose if I can't take the Camry. Dave Lewis is saying add a vacuum gauge and drive by that for fuel mileage. Couldn't hurt. Rebuild on that Q-Jet would be real nice too. RG55VR is asking if I kiss Mickey Mouse. No. My favorite games, remove the Camry. Remove the Camry. I got to think on that. Kind of like Z's. I think there's, I don't know really, I don't know. It's hard to choose. I like Supras. I'm too big for them. All I'm saying, old Mopars put a vacuum light on a turn signal indicator, and yeah, Camrys were America after like sometime in the 90s. Let me make sure I'm still on all messages here. Not messing nothing. Missing nothing. 510 Datsun. I do like those. Burroughs Garage is saying the 19... Really? With the train? The 1968 Mercury Park Lane with the 390 I built last year is getting extreme fuel economy, better than an EV. And it has to do with using the battery in the tractor. I think that one's going right past me, Brother Bear. LB Bruin saying, gotta get the grinds ready, boys. Really, train? Come on. Take care and keep it between the ditches. Unfinished Project is the new distributor for Airclaw Spacers. Ciao. Thanks so much for stopping in, brother. Be safe out there. Check your fluids. Chris Cadman saying, got back from a 40-degree motorcycle ride today. Beat the rain by 15 minutes. Nathan Neal saying that Mickey is a bit of a freak. Yeah, Mickey's out there. We're not going anywhere with Mickey. Donna Leberton saying everyone says that installing a 4-barrel carb instead of a 2-barrel on a V8 increases miles per gallon. I was planning on doing I was planning on doing it until I talked to this guy at the track who did it and plunged the MPG pulling his car. I mean, I've definitely heard that argument before. I mean, with the Q-Jet, it's pretty easy because it's like it's basically, you know, it's basically a two-barrel carb with a couple, another with the secondaries built in. Malachi Bryant's asking if I have a Demon 170 Hellcat. Malachi, I had a Hellcat Charger at the shop that I used as a pipe stand, if that counts. It was a great pipe stand. I don't think it'll ever run, though. The owner of that shop he suffers from genius. Olive saying, I'm telling, okay. Unfinished project saying I need a train horn. I've installed a couple of them. I think that 77 F-150 I was working on got Dixie horns. Charlie Roma saying sweet train sounds. Yeah, that's got to be BNSF. They'll come through late at night here. Yeah, they're headed this way. Chris Cabin saying a thunderstorm happening now north of Detroit. Up in the great north yonder. At Zero's got a great point here. He's saying we're classic American-based car and truck owners. Toyota Supra saying I subscribe. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, brother. I hope it's not too boring, man. It's mostly just me and the truck. I run the truck. It's my daily driver. I fix things. If I see something cool, I try to take a short of it or a video. And really not. I'm tired. I can't speak right. Really not the most active YouTube channel, but just the same. All I'm saying, if you set up the 4-barrel to run on less till you open up the secondaries, you'll get better mileage. If you set it to open up all the time, you'll have worse. Indeed. Toyota Supra's out for the night. Thanks, man. Thanks for stopping in. Have a great one. And make sure to check your fluids. At Zero saying, Chris Cadman, when our awful state's weather hits beautiful Canada, does it just become clean? He's asking that. He's not saying it. Barrel's Garage is saying on a spread bore 4-barrel carb, the primaries are tiny, smaller than a 2-barrel, so you get better mileage as long as you don't overuse the toilet bowl secondaries. It makes a difference for sure. I mean, I've got like the kind of cop car bog with the Quadrajet, but I can hear that thing. I like hear it leaning out when I'm really getting on it at higher speeds. So I want to drill out the little fuel inlet, and I need to get in there and just rework that carb because I was working at Hubie's, and not that he was rushing me at all, but I felt very obligated to not have my truck beached on his driveway, and so I really just threw it back together. I took it apart, I cleaned the parts. I didn't even change the gaskets. I changed the accelerator pump and I greased the gaskets and threw it back together. So I mean, how much can you expect, really? Chris Cadman saying, always over torque the top of a thermoquad. They warp easy or what? Dada Leberton is saying he reinstalled the 2-barrel intake back on his motorhome. I get 15 miles per gallon all day long with my 318 motorhome. Got it to pull my car to the track, and if I swap for a 4-barrel, all I want is more torque on hills. That makes sense. Dean. Buff Del Campo's in the chat saying, I'm here but struggling with my phone. I usually use my laptop. I'm with you there, Buff. It's weird streaming off of the phone. It's hard to read the little words and everything, but I manage, I guess. But good to see you, Buff. How are you, man? All I'm saying, I've heard compelling arguments a 2-barrel with the right manifold on a slant 6 is better than trying a 4-barrel conversion, though. I could definitely see that, especially because, I don't know, I mean, that BBD was even used on 383 applications and everything else. Hunter Pimentel is in the chat. Welcome, Hunter. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Eagles Nation's in the chat saying hi. Howdy, Eagles Nation. Oh my God. You guys are talking about KFC. Tay King is in the chat. Welcome. Welcome indeed. Yeah, one of the supervisors at work right now he's kind of a older Southern guy, and he's got a beard. And one of the guys I work with called him Colonel Sanders. Oh my God, I laughed. And now I just picture him leaving work and just putting on the bow tie in the car. Eagles Nation, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Half asleep, ranting at people, and a little a little bit tired is all. How about you? Everything good? Tay King loves KFC, KCF, KFC, same thing. I mean, it really ain't bad. I kind of prefer Popeyes, but Kid Cook Fry. All I'm saying on the stove bolts, I actually prefer two Weber 3236 progressive carbs. It's more even distribution. Yeah, Brother Bear was really trying to get me to work with that stove bolt. It was kind of a shame that I blew that thing right before he brought me that T5 for it, and before I could really get into it. But again, the V8's a far more practical solution. I feel like, especially in a work truck that you use every day. It's just easier. Did I ruin it? I'm surprised I was able to fix that. Barrel's Garage is saying for sure, Ari, that 350 was a dang good choice and far cheaper all around. Yeah, 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 definitely. That I mean, it's kind of a shame, I felt kind of bad not using the stove bolt, but especially after using it for so long. But again, this is it's a good change. It really is. I mean, it's just it's plus it's easier to build on. You know what I mean? If I put the same money into this V8, I'll have a pretty damn serious machine. Versus if I would have poured the money into the stove bolt, I'd probably have something that does basically what this V8 does with no fanciness, no niceties. All I'm saying, I had a friend always talking about Brit multi-carb setups. Well, the 235 that excuse me, the 235 that they put into old Corvettes had a tri-carb setup, and it had split exhaust and three side shaft. I don't even know how to speak anymore. Anybody else want a live stream? Three side draft Rochester carburetors. And I thought that would be really cool to try that intake setup on the truck because it probably weighs as much as that Corvette did. Unfinished project saying I wiped some dust off the dash of the W350 tonight for the first time since I've owned it. I also used the leaf blower to get the floor clean. Isn't that the best? I like just hosing out the truck. That's why I don't put any carpet in there. Donna Lebreton's asking, are Weber carbs harder to adjust like some say? Barrow's Garage is saying they're very simple. At Zero saying I accept the challenge. They look amazing. Tucker's Photography is asking if I like NASCAR. I do like NASCAR, Tucker, but I don't really keep up much. I don't keep up with much of anything, really. I watch movies from the 70s and work all day and come on YouTube to run my mouth and embarrass myself. Cousin Mike's got a good point there, America. Donna Lebreton saying, okay, the only one I know who had some Webers told me he always needed to adjust them. Blaney won the championship. I'll look it up, Tucker. I'll have to enlighten myself a little bit there. Like I said, I don't really keep up with anything anymore. Dean's Stevenson saying, I really think those with the most tractors always win. But I have some good Serbian friends. You lost it, Dean. All I'm saying, I think I was more born for rally and Brit touring car driving. I like hill climbs a bunch. Barrel's Garage is saying the triple carb is a bit tricky because the outer two are your secondaries. It only runs off the middle carb until about half throttle. Okay, that does sound funky. We had a 56 Corvette in the shop, and the owner was talking about doing a bunch of resto mod work to it, which would have been really, like, I would have had to quit. That would have been pure sacrilege. But it was in the shop at the same time as that 55 T-Bird I had done all the work to, and I really, really wanted to race the two. The 292 with the teapot Holly on it versus the 235 with 3 side draft Rochesters. I feel like it would just be a heavy iron match made in heaven. I'm dying. It's the end. I'm just kidding. Don't take me seriously. Obviously, one reason I always hated carbs was the darn adjustment screws tended to be worn out. Make those nice and it's probably better. Yeah, that is a difference. Thanks, all of them. I'm over here. My joke at work is that I have cholera. Chris Cadman saying had a 53 K120 with SU carbs, nightmare. Yeah, small carbs. I mean, I don't know. I dealt with that Rochester for so long that I got used to that, and that's like the simplest carb in the world. I kept that carb. I'm gonna make my son rebuild it. Probably do a better job than me. But that Quadrajet gave me a run for my money. I was ready to like shoot or punt that thing. That's a heavy carb. I probably would have broke my foot, but it would have been worth it just to punt that thing. Cousin Mike saying the only thing I had to do with my truck is add oil. Nobody knows how it still runs. Intensive tuberculosis. I would go out like Doc Holliday. I could see that. That would be fitting. Oh, man. But yeah, the 235 was a good machine for a long time. It was funny. I was going through my pictures today, and I pulled up a picture of it when I just hoisted it out of the truck, and I'm looking at it like, wow, like, because I had talked about swapping it for pretty much as long as I'd had the truck, and finally getting to it was pretty strange for me. At Zero saying we old school, we only get old timey illness like Oregon Trail. All I'm saying, I did think about an ITB setup for my Z, but wasn't there yet. I do love those cars. My buddy, I think he still has one. At Zero, you remember Tyler Miller, Hans Mueller? He's still got a Z. I forget which year. And D's in the chat. Howdy, brother. Unfinished project saying, in my opinion, some of the current problems surrounding immigration are because immigrants cling to their national identity instead of assimilating and becoming Americans. But I can only speak on what I see locally. I think it depends. Unfinished. I mean, there's definitely that cultural thing. A lot of people kind of remain separatists, which I guess is their right. But I don't know. I always do my best to try to learn a little bit about everybody's culture and their background, you know. So I would hope that they would do the same. You know what I mean? They don't have to have like a bald eagle as a pet or anything, but Barrow's Garage is saying my dad calls cousin Mike's T-Bird the miracle bird. It's a miracle it runs as good as it does. On paper, that thing shouldn't run. Yeah, he's got that thing running sweet too. Everything works. I can't believe everything works. Unfinished project saying, especially the music. Yeah, exactly. The tractor song you used for your short, you know what I mean? I recognized hearing it at the 7-Eleven here, and I brought it up to the guy. I'm like, "Is that tractor song, isn't it?" And he's like, "Yeah, how do you know that?" And he's like, "Ever since then, he's been super cool with me." So it's like, all right, it's like at least it's like a bridge to communication at the very least, right? Olive's got a point. The problem is people with money want cheap labor, but also want us to resent those that do it. Yeah, yeah. I'm one of those people, Olive. I'm cheap labor. I am cheap labor. Barrel's Garage is saying I think it's only has 6-to-1 compression, but every cylinder is even, so it doesn't shake, doesn't smoke. It's an oddity. Yeah, that's for sure. That's not everybody that just yanks a T-Bird like that out of the weeds and just gets it running tip top. You know what I mean? That's. I think Mike might be a wizard. I think both of you guys might be wizards. Sorcery. Mechanical Sorcery by Barrow's Garage. Uh, I lost all of my faith in healthcare in 2020. And Zero saying Ford versus Ferrari is on best line. I thought we felt the same about the Germans. That movie was kind of hard for me to watch. I don't know if I was just being like hypercritical or what. Cousin Mike saying everything I have just keeps running. That friggin' tracker, I wish that thing would stop running. You driving that thing around is an atrocity. I'm just kidding. The tracker is cool to someone. Unfinished project saying compression is overrated, except Mike's. Oh, we got messages held for review. 6-to-1 compression is what my Ford 22 cockshit tractors have. Byron Alvarado is asking if I'm Mexican. No, I'm not. No. I might as well be, though. I listen to a lot of Mexican music. I work with all Mexicans. Eat a lot of Mexican food. Baba's in the chat. Welcome. My son's Mexican, so I was involved in the production of a Mexican. And decent at zero. What is a Ford versus Ferrari? What is it on? I keep on checking Netflix and Prime. Last I checked, it was on Hulu. I'm not sure though. I watched it. I think I was just being hypercritical. It was probably a cool movie. All I'm saying, I'm pretty sure Mex is Mexican, at least presently. It's on Prime, apparently, Aunt D. Cousin Mike's saying the secret to his cars running forever is that they don't say Dodge on them. Charlie Rome was saying I have a 346 pack in my Dodge D150. Good gas mileages until I keep up. Good. I swear I know how to speak, guys. I swear I do. Good gas mileages until I did it twice. Good gas mileage until I open up the vacuum secondaries, but it's fun. What year D150, Charlie? That sounds like a really rad setup. Homeschool Garage. Saying hello world. What's going on, Abel? Oh, oh, the biscuit. A box of biscuits. A box of mixed biscuits. A box of mixed biscuits in a biscuit mixer. A box of mixed biscuits. A box of biscuits. A box of mixed biscuits. A box of mixed biscuits in a biscuit mixer. Thanks, I'm finished. I forgot. Hey, I got the train again. 81, says Charlie Roma. That's bad, man. That's the square Dodge. I really love the old swept lines. You know, I'm partial to everything 60s, I guess, but 81 with the 340 and a six pack, that's pretty badass, Charlie. Abel D's in the chat. He's saying, hello, world. What's going on, cousin Abel? How are you, man? Yeah, Olive's got, now we got trains honking at us. They're saying, get the hell out of here, Ari. Can't even speak. Barrow's Garage is saying, Mexican, Iranian, couscous tortilla, and a work ethic that never quits. Kids got it made, man. Oh, man. Byron Alvarado is asking what my favorite scary movie is. Maybe the 80s version of Dawn of the Dead. But Night of the Living Dead would probably be there. I'm kind of torn between those two. Charlie's saying square body step side short bed. Oh, that's a sweet truck. At Zero saying the kid's American, that's all. Yeah, that's for sure. Cousin Mike saying if you try to drive an old V8 for mileage, just get a Prius. Dean saying Shaun of the Dead, that one is genius. Tavo Garage is in the chat. Olive saying, contrary to what some say, working hard doesn't necessarily correlate to how much money you get. Geez, I learned that the hard way. What's the old joke? If you work, you're too busy to make money. Chris Cadman's saying, I went to Maryland for a weekend and got crabs. King crab legs, I'm hoping he means, but you never know with Chris. Buffed Compo saying Dodge swept line pickups with fins. I think I may have the wrong name, but just the 60s Dodge trucks I like a lot. I think the 65 is the one with like the just insanely oversized headlight bezels. I like that truck. Dave Lewis is saying, why work hard, work for fun? Yeah. I mean, I work hard because I've got so much restless energy that I feel better for doing it. You know what I mean? The only time I get upset about it is when someone brings that into question. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I'm busting my ass and they want to act like I'm not. That'll drive me nuts. Dirt Bike Hero 43 is in the chat saying howdy. Welcome, Dirt Bike Hero. How are you? What's going on? Not much, man. We're talking carburetor setups. We were talking beer and tequila for a while. I've got a mush mouth tonight, so I'm almost unable to enunciate and pronounce words, apparently. I'm doing well, though. I'm doing well. A little sleepy, admittedly, but I'm here. Cousin Mike saying I prefer my job barely working than using my time to help people. That's pretty rad, Mike. I mean, you're all around, you know what I mean? If people have trouble with their houses, I mean, I know you just fixed your sister's furnace, you're helping Brother Bear with his roof, you help people with their cars. You know, that's pretty badass to me. I love occupying my time like that. If I have free time, you know, helping people move or, you know, get through a project or whatever it may be. Donna Lebreton is saying, The House on Haunted Hill is a movie that makes me feel weird and perplexed. I'm a psychiatric nurse and that movie is friggin' creepy. You talking about the old Vincent Price one? And he's saying, when we need mileage and highway, we get in our Ford Fiesta. Our next new running thing is a 1980 F100, now with overdrive. Hey, it's got overdrive. Yeah, Buff, the saucer round headlights, yeah, they're huge. Unfinished project saying, I plan on winning the lottery and living a life of comfort and ease. You do work a lot, man. Tabo Garage is saying, Dodge trucks in Australia were a completely different animal. Joint venture with International. Look up a Dodge AT4 and D5N. Excuse me. Where the hell's my pen? Dad's always got to come in here and move everything. AT4 and D5N. I'll look it up, Tabo. Unfinished project. Oh, I read that. Byron Alvarado is asking if I play Grand Theft Auto 5. No, I don't. I don't really play many games. I don't. I'm kind of a shut-in of a caveman. I don't really do much. I work. I spend a little time with the family. YouTube is it doesn't really this is probably the only outward thing I do. Dirt Bike Hero saying my PS4 overheated. Now my PC is being a bitch, so I can't play video games. You're stuck with me, man. Abel's asking how the Santa Anas are treating me. They just kicked up, really. Pretty much after I got back from work, I started to hear things blow around. But it seems like they've mellowed. I don't see the blinds moving. At Zero saying every time I play the lotto, some jerk wins. I think you're quoting Homer Simpson there. Dirt Bike Hero 43 is saying Ford Crown Victoria 2001. Now we're talking. That's a real car. Cousin Mike saying everything I do is pretty hard work. That's for sure. That's for sure. The animal stuff's gnarly, man. Working outside, the irrigation stuff's not easy at all. Yeah, that's real work. Anything where you're risking your fingers, you know what I mean? Adzero's going to head out. Good night, everyone. Keep on wrenching, folks. Good night, brother. Check your fluids. Olive's saying, I play one lottery ticket once in a while just in case the gods decide I become more interesting rich person than I am a poor one. Yeah, I probably should buy a lottery ticket. My mom's always telling me to do it. She's saying that astrologically I'm lucky, but I don't think she understands the irony in that statement. Donna Lebreton saying, I think so. It's a movie about psychiatric hospital is that a box of biscuits, a box of mixed biscuits. It's a movie about a psychiatric hospital that has been converted, and the guests have been invited by an entity or spirit. It locks down until the morning. I saw weird stuff. Yeah, I believe you, man. Buff Del Campo's saying, maybe get a 60s Dodge pickup and put your slant in it. Santa's anus went. Yes, unfinished, indeed. I would really love to throw that slant 6 in a truck. Buff, I kind of prefer trucks, but I really would like to get that 64 Dart running too. I think it would be hilarious. Just, just a funky little car I could smirk and drive around and just bother people with my happiness in my little car. Aunt D saying, just looked up those Aussie trucks. They're cool. Byron Alvarado's asking what my favorite dessert is. That's a hard one to choose, too. I don't know. Maybe, like cobbler, peach or apple. I don't know. Alpha Coltron saying, my dad won $500. 500 ain't bad. Girls Garage saying, I like the looks of the Bug Eye swept side Dodges. Yes. They're funky, aren't they? Tavo's got a great point here. He's saying put the slant in a pickup and a Hemi 6 in the Dart. I wish, Tavo. I mean, I definitely like the geometry of the Hemi 6 more so than the Slant 6. The Slant 6 is a funky machine. Funky. I can't believe I put one together. I assembled that engine and I was like, you know what? After this, whatever. You know what I mean? Nothing's going to be difficult after this. Unfinished project saying I have an 82 D150 with a Slant 6, 3-speed with overdrive. That's got to be a nice truck unfinished. All I'm saying, if someone does, it's more likely they rip people off. Yes. Charlie Roma saying, get that Dart running. Yes, sir, man. I'll get back on it. Olive sent me a badass new old stock steel shim head gasket. I'm going to do a video soon. I really want to do a proper unveiling of it. Otherwise, I'd pop it out here on the live stream. But yes, she's saying just got a fresh head gasket. So I'll probably go through that engine, put the right oil pan on it, and relube everything. I have a spare gasket set. When it's your first time building an engine, that's a good investment. But I definitely need to get into it and put it together. Just throw the car together. It's not a lot of work. A little bit of money, a little bit of time, and I can at least get it putting around. Daniel's in the chat. Welcome. Brian M's in the chat. Howdy, Brian. How are you? Abel D saying best lottery tickets I buy are on offer up. Here's Captain saying on an RCMP Cop Crown Vic once. It was fun to drive, slow on the highway. Donna Lebreton is saying you guys are talking about lottery tickets and Heart of Lottery here has gone up to 3.6 million Canadian. The next week there are 14 cards left to pick from. It's a local lottery that's getting big. Daniel, I do like NASCAR. All of same, on Magic Money, but have occasionally been the Auto Parts Fairy. Yeah, Olive, I'll get a couple more. I should get some Tooth Fairy money this Friday. I'll send you a couple bucks for that, for the head gasket. I only covered shipping. Barrow's guy is saying, as a mechanic, you can't beat Dodge for ease. Inner fenders are nice and flat tool trays, and the hood opens all the way up. No hood latch spearing you in the back or noggin. Yeah, that hood latch has gotten me in the noggin a few times, Brother Bear. Ain't these saying, my buddy picked up a 50 Chrysler Windsor with a seized motor. Thinking about putting one of my Slant 6s in it. That'd be fun. Byron Alvarado is asking what my first job was. My first job was just stocking and cleaning in a fishing store. Brian, I'm saying doing good. Did an 8-hour smoke of a pork shoulder. 8. Brian, you got to do 16. I'm just kidding. 8's probably good, man. How did it turn out? Donna Leberton, I'm assuming that's Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Buff Del Campo saying maybe there's some lights that are big enough around to fit where Dodge pickup saucers go. Daniel, I don't keep up with NASCAR much. I'm saying I don't keep up with much of anything earlier. Unfinished project saying I have a feeling that the reality of winning the lottery is that the rest of your life will be the Running Man. All this won't hurt, but minimal hurry. Olive, I gotta get you something for that. I appreciate it so much. Especially that, since it sat in the same place for so long, I feel like it's something significant. So, Buff Del Campo saying Dodge inner fenders are mechanic friendly. Daniel, I love Dodge trucks and cars. Paul Pajui saying good night, everybody. Have to get some sleep. Good night, Paul. Thanks for stopping in, man. Check your fluids. Abel's asking, anyone here has any Rochester B carburetors, single barrel? Learned to love them for my Land Rovers. Abel, I sold the one spare I had with the 235. I think I might have a 2-barrel laying around somewhere, but I don't think I have any more single barrels. Amari videos and shorts saying, what is the best exhaust mod to do with the 2014 F-150? I mean, probably something real basic. You know, I mean, you get some chambered mufflers, you'll probably hear it pretty nice, right? I'd assume something real basic. Caesar Trex, C10 Truckin'. Saying, what's up, car and truck lovers? What's going on, Caesar? How are you? It's Cesar. It's not even Caesar, it's Cesar. I'm sorry, man. How are you, man? I enjoyed the pictures you sent me, brother. I sorry about the late reply there. I was just finishing up work when you had sent me a text. Byron Alvarado's Byron. Is it Byron? It's Byron. What is your favorite car? My favorite sports car? Sports car. I don't know. I'm overgrown, man. I don't fit in sports cars very well, so it's hard for me to choose, but I really like Porsches. I don't usually admit that. Daniel saying I daily drive an F450. Nice, man. MG for Barrows. Barrows, you're lucky, man. You normal sized. You can fit in all those cars. Unfinished project. Excuse me. Unfinished projects asking how he missed Brian's pork shoulder video. All right. Well, guys, I feel a coughing fit coming on, and it's going to be dramatic. I'm going to go ahead and tune out for the evening. Daniel, I'm great, man. I'm a little bit sick right now, and this cough has been getting me for the past night or so. Olden Man TC, howdy, brother. But yeah, I'm about to, I'll probably go ahead and call it a night. For everybody new here, I'll probably be doing, I always do a live stream on Sunday night. And it's a little bit late, but I always do a live stream on Sunday night. I'll keep uploading shorts. I appreciate everybody who stopped in. It's always fun talking to you guys. I'm sorry I was so mush mouth. Donna Leberton saying honey and salt and hot water. I'll try it. I'll try anything at this. See, it's coming on. But thanks so much, everybody. I appreciate you guys. Have a safe week. I'll see you on Sunday. In the meantime, make sure to check your fluids, please. And don't go all Doc Holiday like me. Good night, guys. Thank you.